The San Antonio Spurs have been the purest example of excellence for the past 22 seasons under head coach Greg Popovich. Every year, people had counted them out, left for dead, old and decrepit, and every year they proved those cynics wrong, to the tune of 22 straight years making the playoffs and 5 NBA titles. But something has changed this year. And despite having 2 former All-Stars, one in his prime and the other at the tail end, it seems like the predictions have finally caught up with them and has left everyone wondering, what in the hell happened to the Spurs? At first glance, you'll look at their defensive rating and realize they can't stop anybody. And a big issue is with their three-point defense, particularly in the pick and roll. There's a real problem with their weak side rotations, both from a foundational standpoint and effort. Here, Rudy rotates all the way to the roll man despite Aldridge already being there and leaving one of the best corner shooters wide open for the easy shot. DeRozan overhelps on this drive despite Aldridge being in position, again leaving the corner shooter wide open for basically a practice shot. As this pick and roll is going to the right, Murray and Bellinelli are officially on the strong side of the court, meaning it's not their help to the ball. Easy pass, easy shot. Another issue is that they have no rim protection, ranking 22nd in opponents' restricted area field goal percentage. And it might not be fair to point to LaMarcus Aldridge considering his age and the fact that he's never been great at it, but it's far too often that the opposing team is getting into the lane with Aldridge as the primary help and teams scoring layups and short shots when he was in position to potentially make a play. Again, he never came to San Antonio to be a defensive anchor of a defense, but the lineups he plays in force him to assume that role, and it's just not working out in any shape or form. It's possible the Spurs aren't playing defense well enough because they're having trouble moving quickly and keeping their men in front of them. And we all know that when you're not feeling fresh below the waist, it can really affect your play. And that's where Manscaped comes in. With their patented skin-safe technology, their Lawnmower 2.0 can trim easily with no risk of snags, guaranteed. As you like to say in the locker room, nick your sack, send it back. And with their Crop Preserver anti-chafing ball deodorant, they'll be defending better in no time. At the very least, they'll be feeling trim and moisturized in the shorts region. Their Perfect Package 2.0 kit has tons of savings, replacement blades, and for a limited time, subscribers get the Shed Travel Bag free. So, visit manscaped.com today, use my code BBALL20 to get 20% off plus free shipping, and your balls will be squeaking clean through the net in no time, unlike the Spurs, who have struggled mightily this season from behind the arc. And that's the thing, sports fans. The Spurs had virtually the same defensive rating as last year when they won 48 games and were the 7th seed in the playoffs. With many of the same players back, I'm going to point to the huge drop in offensive production as the main culprit here. One thing that jumped out at me right away was the crazy drop in three-point shooting. Having led the NBA last year as a bunch of lights-out shooters surrounding Aldridge and DeRozan, a glaring loss was that of Davis Bertans, who's shooting the bejesus out of the ball in Washington. Last year, he provided plenty of spacing as the guy standing in the corner and then lifting out of the corner to the wing as they forced the defense to collapse towards the paint. His man would get distracted by the ball, and the simple relocation found tons of open catch-and-shoot threes for him. However, lost in all these types of shots was that he was actually good in other situations, like rolling to the basket, then popping out to get the quick release shot off the hop before the defense could close the gap. He could also get funky with it off the dribble before stepping back from behind the line. How about attacking on the catch into the middle when his defender thought he was going to shoot it? The little kick to Aldridge and the quick replace to the wing caused all sorts of problems for the defense. The best way to get a three is to drive and kick, then get back behind the line as quick as possible. At his height, you'd need a forward to close out to affect him, and it was hard to fathom how Pop only played him less than 22 minutes a night. Oh, and then they traded him to sign Marcus Morris, who bolted for the Knicks anyway, and they're playing Trey Lyles in that spot. He's around average from three, but has nowhere near the gravity or shot-making ability. Of course, Bertans is now among the league leaders in three-pointers on almost 9 a game, and doing something the Spurs sorely lack. The biggest drop in three-point shooting comes from Rudy Gay, who is down 13 points from last year, and you can see how time and again the defense can simply sag off of him to stop penetration and then leave him open to take the shot. In fact, they'll outright ignore him a lot in order to get in the way of the ball handler, and it's grinding their offense to a halt, unable to get the beautiful game going with multiple passes around the perimeter and scrambling the defense. Instead, they can pack it in and thank Rudy for jacking up another shot from out there. If we're going to criticize the Spurs for screwing up the Bertans situation, then we could put equal blame on the roster construction in general. There are hardly any teams in the NBA whose top 2 scorers are basic non-threats from behind the arc. And a great way to demonstrate the issues with this decidedly non-modern approach is when they run the dreaded DeMar DeRozan-LaMarcus Aldridge pick and roll. They do this often enough to make me frustrated, and when there is virtually no threat from the ball handler or the screener to shoot from 3, it makes it really easy on the whole defense. Of course, we all know how good LMA is at the long 2, and he's still shooting a good percentage, but teams are more and more willing to keep giving this shot up, and this is about all they can get out of this action when they can give DeRozan a nice cushion around the screen. If they don't figure out a better adjustment to this soon, their offense will continue to suffer and be left behind, which is certainly ironic considering they were on the forefront of ball movement and spacing. But things have changed since 2014, and with their 10-16 record and 12th place in the conference, there is virtually no way they're making the playoffs. All good things must come to an end, and 22 straight years is an amazing accomplishment. But if they don't do some radical changes to their roster and their coaching style, I fear they'll be stuck in this situation for quite a while. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to B-Ball Breakdown so you can get alerted right away when we drop a new video. This season will be filled with incredible content, so don't miss it. You in?